Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here at Banknote Trading, where we take a look at the US dollar pairs and the Forex market. Today, we'll start by taking a look at Euro USD on the 4-hour chart. And we'll go and map out the current range. And of course, this is the strong higher low from the lows previously to this low. Even though it consolidated for a while, it eventually broke out past the highs for Euro. And now we see that the sellers have stepped back in, causing a structure to the downside to be played out. Of course, we see structure broke to the downside because we're waiting to see what this area of demand would do. And of course, we saw that it passed the lows of this area of demand, but price has come back into this area of demand. But on a micro level, this is still just pushing out of areas of supplies, as the internal structure is bearish. Overall swing structure bullish, as we were already pointing out. Internal structure bearish. And fracture starting to be bullish, but are expected to continue as the internal structure continues to push further and further down, making lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Only time I'd be interested in any type of buying opportunity, which is what I'll be waiting for, because overall the swing structure is bullish, as if it starts to break past these highs and forms like a higher low and then target the highs of the overall range. Of course, these sellers, it looks like it just swept the previous highs and start pushing prices back down, but only looking for any type of buying opportunity, but we're not right now because, like I said, the internal structure is bearish, continuing to push price down, expected to continue. Price taking out these lows. There's still liquidity sitting under these lows, so waiting to see if momentum can pick up, and waiting to see if the dollar can eventually get weaker in order to turn this pair back around. GBP USD, let's go map out the current range. So a lot more bearish than Euro, but of course this is the higher low from these lows. Broke this low, broke out past these highs. Of course, still a step back in as the dollar continued to get stronger, but internally it's overall swing structure bullish, swing structure internal structure bearish, making lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And it has come all the way back down to this higher low. Actually, went past it, could possibly have swept it, but this is still, like I said, internally bearish, so it's still continuing to push out of these areas of supply. And waiting to see a reaction here. The only time I'd be looking for any type of buying opportunity if it does start to make any inroads and taking out the liquidity sitting over these highs. It does look like it is a V-shaped recovery, but I want to see confirmation by, like I said, just taking out some of these highs, getting past these supply areas. But right now it may have formed a double bottom with this higher low, but doesn't mean that it won't continue pushing down, like I said, as the dollar index continues to get stronger. So only looking for any type of opportunity only if it does get past this higher low and form another lower high from these highs. And then I'll be looking to switch to a bearish swing structure, because that would take out the lows that form this. If it does get past this higher low, then I'll push further down, I'll be looking at the selling opportunity, because it would take out the higher low that may form these highs. So we're waiting to see any type of momentum that picks up DXY and the dollar index. Let's go ahead and briefly look at what it is. As I've been saying, it's broken structure to the upside, making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Overall swing structure bearish, but internally making strides to higher prices. Of course, this is the area of consolidation that it had been in the previous month, this being the area of support and this area of resistance. And last week I was like waiting to see if it can push past this liquidity sitting over these highs, or if it does just sweep it, then we're waiting to see any type of momentum that picks up. It looks like it is impulsing to the upside, but it is in this area of resistance that a price did just react from. So waiting to see if it can react from these areas of demand as it keeps continuing to push higher, and which obviously affects the other USD pair. So waiting to see if this higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, this is going to form another higher low, push out this area of demand and continue to push higher. possibly making this swing structure bullish after it does target the highs of this overall range. AUD USD, let's go map out the current range. And of course, it's swing structure A to B price leg is bullish. These lows to this high, and then seller step back in, broke structure to the downside. Turn structure is bearish. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Of course, just waiting to see any type of momentum to pick up from these areas of demand that it keeps coming back down to. Sell before the buy. Waiting to see if these areas can push out and start taking out the liquidity sitting over these highs, push past this area of supply in order to continue that swing structure to higher prices and target the highs of the overall range. But right now, conflicting, as the internal structure is bearish while the swing structure is bullish. So waiting to see if momentum can pick up to the upside. But overall, as you know, I've been saying it came back into this area of consolidation, with this area being resistance, this area being support, and prices back in the middle of that, it looks like. So waiting to see if there's any type of momentum that can pick up and push us back to trending bullish. NZD USD, let's go map out the current range. Well, let's map out the previous range, what we've been dealing with first from last week. We saw that it had got bullish, make a higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows internally. And then once it got past this area, it's a bullish swing structure, but then seller step back in, and this due to the New Zealand economy pushing past these areas of demand. But as you can see now, looks like this whole area was just engineered in order to build liquidity in this ascending channel. And of course, it was always building liquidity when there is an ascending channel like that, building liquidity sitting under these lows. And it looks like all this did was sweep these lows, sweep these highs, and then push down further. So that was the previous swing structure. Now swing structure is bearish due to it breaking past these lows. Obviously, impulsive push down, consolidated for a while, then pushed past this area of demand that was pushing prices higher. And now this latest push past the lows of that previous range. So this is the current structure. And we can map out, we can see where every area of supply is continuing to push prices out, or pushing prices down. Out of this consolidation, push down, out of that consolidation, push down. Now it's consolidating again. Could retrace back up to this area of supply, or could continue to push down, targeting the highs of the overall range, looking for any type of momentum to continue. Actually looking for any type of retracement, and then I'll be looking for any type of selling opportunity to continue targeting the lows of the overall range. GBP AUD, let's go map out the current range. Looks like this just continues to consolidate. Of course, it came back up here to this lower high, and then seller step back in. It's just been continuing to make lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then this area started to consolidate. Really, I mean, it broke structure to the upside on the 4-hour chart, but it's just really in consolidation. No real trending push. If you were looking for targeting the lows of the overall range, or look for any type of momentum to pick up in the bearish direction. But this is just choppy. It did break structure again to the downside, but then the price wasn't able to target the lows and take out the lows of the overall range. So just in a choppy area, just in consolidation, not looking for anything until there's a determination on which direction price wants to go. GBP NZD, let's go map at the current range. And it's been in this range for a while, this overall swing range. And as you can see, we've been waiting to see after this pullback to see prices reverse and target the highs of this overall swing structure. And again, it's due to the New Zealand dollar getting weaker, pushing prices past this area of consolidation that we've been mapping out. Even though it did break structure to the downside, buyer stepped back in and took out these areas. Also, all this liquidity sitting over these highs, and now it has broken structure to the upside. over here, taking out this this high. So now it's just only expecting, like I was saying last week, this is just a temporary pullback, possibly a bull flag, and it did look choppy, but eventually, like I was saying last week, that it should target the overall swing structure lower high. And once that does that, we're looking to see if this swing structure is now going to be turning bullish after all of this time, changing the range of this overall pair. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining us.